It is August, which means college basketball just not around the corner, but it's about 90 days away. But I'm already excited about the 2026 NBA Draft. And in this episode, NBA Draft Junkies podcast, James and I, we're going to let you know why you should also be excited about the 2026 NBA Draft. All right, we are back. Episode 2 of the NBA Draft Junkies podcast. The last episode, James and I, we talked about Summer League. We basically just shared our thoughts and give a rundown on the first round picks from the 2025 Summer League. But now, I'm done with 2025. I'm ready to talk about the 2026 NBA Draft. It is a class that I'm excited about. I've been excited about this class for a while. I think there's some franchise changing players in this draft. I think it's deep, especially with the NIL factor. We had a lot of the top players that I thought, could have been fringe first round picks decided to return to school, which, makes a lot of sense, man. Some of those guys getting $2-3 million. Could you imagine, James, being in college? I couldn't even imagine being an adult having $2 or $3 million. But could you imagine being in college with 2 or 3 M's in your bank account?
I definitely wouldn't be in the dorms, that's for sure, because it'd be looking like Foot Locker in there with all the stuff that I would have. So I couldn't imagine that. And then, waking up, deciding which set of chains I was going to wear to class, if I was going to go to class. It's just too much, man. Yeah, shout out to those kids dealing with all that responsibility.
So NIL made the 2026 class even stronger, but the top of the class is going to be highlighted by just a deep class of freshmen. I think it's going to be similar to 2025, where the lottery is going to be dominated by one-and-done guys. So I'll let you go first. Which player are you most excited to see in this college basketball season that you think is going to be a top 5 pick in the 2026 NBA Draft?
Rub my hands together. Darryn Peterson from Kansas is, I think, everything that they say he is.
What do they say he is?
Best guard prospect the last 15 to 20 years.
Whoa.
Hey, Raf, I'm trying to tell you,
I'm
man.
thinking, Derrick Rose, that wasn't 20 years ago.
I understand, but Darryn Peterson is really, I think it's August, but I think he's really, really like that. 6'5", shooting guard, does have some playmaking ability, but he brings it every single night. He's got a different gear. He's got handles. He splits pick and rolls. He's got hops. He went head to head with AJ Dybantsa, and he had 61. And AJ, he took the challenge, but he ate a lot of that 61. There's just so many words you can say about Darryn Peterson, but he passes the eye test. He's got athleticism. He scores in multiple ways: pick and roll, post up, isolation, get to the basket. Defensive monster, dare I say. I believe he was at 3.3 stocks per game in the Adidas 3SSB this last summer. He's the goods. Every time I watch him, I get more excited about what he's going to bring to the table. And you got to think, Kansas lost a lot of guys. Finally those old guys got out of there. I think he's going to have to handle the ball a lot, which only adds more to his upside as a combo guard instead of a pure shooting guard.
So I got to go back.
Go ahead, man.
You said best guard in the last 15 to 20 years?
Yes.
Here's a question for you. Yay or nay? Will he have a better statistical freshman year than Trae Young? Remember, Trae Young, and it's not talked about enough. We hear people talk about Michael Beasley's freshman year, Carmelo Anthony's freshman year, Kevin Durant's freshman year. Trae Young averaged 27.4 points and 8.7 assists per game. I don't know if we're going to see that again.
You don't necessarily have to have the best. The statistics don't necessarily have to match. But when you project long term, again, shout out to Trae Young. Those numbers are great. But he did that at 6 foot, 6'1". There's going to be, again, at 6'1", he averaged 27.8. But there's going to be a cap on how great he could be at the next level just because of his physical size. Whereas Darryn Peterson at 6'5", 200, and if he averages 23, 5, and 5, and he's getting you almost 2 steals and a block and a half, and he's just dominating. Like, I think it's going to be more than just statistics that tell the story of why he might be the best guard prospect of the last 15 to 20 years.
I mean, Trae Young's had a good career.
Hey, Trae Young's having a great career.
2-time All-NBA, 4-time All-Star. You can say he's been snubbed a few times. I think it's crazy that the Hawks have not offered him an extension yet. Luka, same draft class, got his extension.
Jaren Jackson got his extension.
He got his extension.
Yeah.
De'Aaron Fox wasn't in the same class. He just got $229. Shea got a gazillion dollars.
Right. Blank check, basically.
So I just think it's crazy that they haven't offered Trae that extension. Anyway, but Darryn Peterson, he's elite, man. I mean, one of the things I like about him is that he's got this chip on his shoulder. Like, he's got this motor, this intensity that he plays with. But when I watch his film, I'm a car guy, right? I like cars. He's like a Porsche 911. Like,
explain that to me, Rob.
Like, the way he can shift gears and change speeds and go from, like, you got cars that can go from 0 to 60, but he can go from like 0 to 60, but then 60 to 100. It's like another gear that he has.
I'm trying to tell you, man.
But when I compare it to a sports car, it's like it's in control. Like, we've all had some buckets that, you know what I mean? Like, the harder you press on the gas, the faster you go. The wheels start shaking. But he's so in control with his explosiveness and his speed. Like I said, it's another gear that he can get to. But it's the competitive fire that stands out. Like, he just seems like he's just has a singular focus on dominating the game and dominating who's ever in front of him. Do you have any concerns about him?
The volume of threes he took in AAU in high school isn't what you want, but it's, and I'm not saying he's a mid-range merchant, but like, you would like to see that increase. But as far as just like his ability to just put the ball in the basket at different levels and different ways, and like, I think he's going to be a good passer. Like, he shows flashes of being able to get downhill and find guys. Like, I mean, Michael Jordan said it, man, the roof is the ceiling. Like, it's just, he is really that good.
Yeah. Yeah, when I watch this film, I mean, I got a lot of notes. I talk about just the dog, the competitive fire. I mentioned that he's an alpha. I like that. I mean, not everybody can be an alpha, but I think he's a natural alpha. He's relentless.
Yeah.
But he's calm. I mentioned his motor. I talked about how he moves different. The first step is crazy. I mean, he's blowing by guys, and I'm thinking like, dang, all right, once he gets to the league and there's going to be more spacing around him, and then you're going to have these, he's hunting bigs and he's getting bigs switched out on him. I mean, he's going to get a paint touch nearly every time.
He creates dunks for himself in the half court in high school. Like, I mean, you can get by in high school because you're athletic, but like, he does it because he's an athlete and he has handles. He's got quickness. Like, again, like you mentioned, NBA spacing. Like I said, Raf, I'm all in on Darryn Peterson.
I wonder, is it harder to get dunks in the half court in high school simply because the spacing isn't there?
I mean, yeah.
Like, one of my concerns about him, and it's just nitpicking, was he has a tendency to overdrive and to crowded and congested lanes. But in the NBA, if he has the right personnel around him, there's not going to be crowded lanes.
Yeah, I think it's twofold. I mean, you can the lane in high school is more crowded, but the guy
shooter,
and there's
probably got a 6'5" center,
right? But
we know some of the guys that were on this team. They, we not guarding them on the perimeter.
You funny, but at the same time, like, the guy guarding you isn't always an NBA caliber athlete. The guy in help side isn't always an NBA caliber athlete. So it works kind of like both ways. But either way you sliced it, you cut on Darryn Peterson's film, he's dunking on people, shooting turnaround jumpers. He routinely splits pick and rolls. Like, he's got point guard handles and a shooting guard's body with great athleticism, and he plays extremely hard.
Yeah, I like that. The handle is shifty. There's 3-level scoring potential. I have in my notes, he finishes with both hands around the rim, and he's just got these natural scoring instincts, whether it's hezzies, stutter steps, spin moves. He's a tough shot taker, but he also makes tough shots. I mean, when I do my scouting notes, I put down the strengths and the positives, and then I also put down like concerns. I don't necessarily label them weaknesses because these guys are 18 years old.
Right.
It's just a concern for now. And the only concerns I really have for him is tendency to drive into congested lanes, which we talked about that. And I wonder, can he shoot off the catch? He's a much better rhythm pull-up shooter, especially in the mid-range, but can he shoot off the catch?
But do you feel like he needs to, like, everybody needs to be able to shoot off the catch? But if you look at, like, let's just say he's an Anthony Edwards type. How many, as you look at the Minnesota Timberwolves play, how many catch and shoot threes does Anthony Edwards get to take over the course of the game? Like, for him, Anthony Edwards unlocking that next level, which is a superstar, which he is, he's shooting off the dribble shots. So it's like, I get it. You want to be able to knock down, catch and shoot threes. But I think he's going to be a guy that's going to have the ball in his hands instead of a guy who's going to play off of. I mean, you need to be able to play off of somebody else. But I think he's going to have like high usage he's 18 in 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's going to be, set everything up, go run everything. He's that kind of talent.
But I had a conversation with someone yesterday about the NBA draft compared to the NFL draft. He's like, the NFL draft, if you take a quarterback number one, which are, first round pick 1 year, you're not going to take one the next year. In NBA, it's like, all right, best player available. So you could end up in a situation. I mean, Dylan Harper's an example where you are going to have to play off the ball some.
Yeah, I get that too. But for the most part, like, we don't know how the ping pong balls may fall. But I think he's going to be somebody you just give the ball to day one.
Yeah. All right, the player that I'm most excited to watch, AJ Dybantsa. I know you're a DP guy, Darryn Peterson guy. AJ, to me, is still the premier talent.
After all that explaining I just did to you go ahead, man.
Yeah, man, that was your opinion. I let you rock.
You echoed a lot of my opinion, right?
I agree, but for me, AJ has, just the elite positional size. He has the physical tools. I think that the difference between AJ and Darryn right now was AJ had been that guy since his freshman year. So he was kind of like he was the guy, right? And I think Darren's mindset is, I'm trying to be that guy. And so for Darryn, I feel like he had a little bit more of a chip on his shoulder. I think AJ, his senior year was full of, it was a circus in a sense. You know what I mean? Like,
he chose that circus though.
No, definitely. And I'm sure he benefited financially for it. But I think that he had more, I just think there was more stuff surrounding him that he won't have in college. I think when he goes to college, he's already started. But I think it's a lot of that stuff is going to be eliminated. It's going to be straight basketball, which Darryn is the same thing. But I'm going with AJ for me as the number one pick in 2026. I love the positional size, 6'8", phenomenal athlete, an easy athlete. You talk about a guy that can get buckets. AJ can get buckets. I love the fact that he's got the hezzy pull-up. Maybe he relies on a little bit too much, but he's got the hezzy pull-up. He's got the low post game. He can bang in the post. He's already got the Carmelo mid-post shoulder bump pull-up. I think he's a better shooter than people give him credit for. Now, yes, if you watch the FIBA U19s, he struggled. I think he was like 1 of 18 from 3. And he looked like he really struggled, even though he won MVP, which is, totally debatable.
Is it?
He won it. So,
no, that's a debate, man.
He did win it, so that there is a debate whether or not he should have won or not. But yeah, he really struggled with his shooting there. But I just love what he brings to the table. I think he has all the physical tools to be a elite NBA defender. With his size, the athleticism, the offensive skill set is incredible. He's got an offensive bag, is what they say, but it's an arsenal. Pull-up jumpers, check. Get to the rim. I think he shot like 74% at the rim in high school, which, again, it's high school.
I got him at 62% at the rim in high school.
62?
Yeah.
I got him at like 74%. I think he has the potential as a 3-level scorer, similar to Darryn, even though like high school statistics, and high school statistics, I don't know how accurate they are, but statistically he was a better 3-point shooter than Darryn. I mean, I just love the skill set. He has a unique blend of like size, athleticism, strength, coordination, and shot making. I'm a big AJ guy, and I think he's also a better passer than he's given credit for. I think he's a sneaky good passer. Where you bite your lip over there.
I mean, I think he can be a good passer, and we're gonna have plenty of AJ versus Darryn debates, but I think Darryn is an advanced passer in comparison to AJ right now.
I think Darryn is more drive and kick vision, but I think I've seen AJ make some high level reads. But he prefers to score first.
Of course, both of them do. But I mean, we're just comparing numbers in high school, whatever. But AJ's like a 1-to-1 assist to turnover ratio guy. That's part of playmaking. Where Darryn was, I believe, at like almost 1.8 to 1, almost 2 to 1. 2 to 1 in high school. But that kind of usage is special. I like AJ Dybantsa's transition game. I think that
he's elite in the open floor.
In the open floor, I think that is I think that is my favorite thing about him. The hezzy pull up, great, kind of spams it, but like he's talented. I know there's kind of like the word on the Twitter street is that people are bored with AJ Dybantsa's greatness. I'm not those people. Like I try to evaluate things just fairly. He's extremely talented. He's probably gonna be like 6'9", maybe 6'10", be able to play the 3 or the 4. Speaking of him potentially playing some 4, like at the McDonald's All-American game, they were using him as a screener. And for a coaching staff to tell the number 1 player, number 2 player, whatever it is, who's been that for so long, hey man, I need you to go set some screens, get open. And for that same 18-year-old kid to buy into that like bodes well for him, at least for me, because that means that he's a malleable player, meaning that, he'll adjust his role. So I like that about him. Again, he, super effective. I believe he was at 25 and 10 the game at Utah Prep. But I just feel like Darryn is better than him. But again, it's early in a sense. But again, if we're talking about a team drafting 1, 2, 3, possibly even 4, you should be able to get a franchise level player.
Yeah, I'm still going with AJ just because, like you said, he can play the 4.
Yeah, that's a big difference. You can use him
as you put him as a 4-man, and you got a point guard that can hit him on the pocket pass. If he gets to his launching pad, it's a poster. Then transition I think he's phenomenal in the open court. Yes. I had put in my notes that he might be the most dangerous man in college basketball when he gets a rebound. If he gets a rebound, if it's a long rebound, it's almost Giannis-like, the fact that he can get to the rim and a dribble. I saw a play where he got the rebound. I think he took 1 dribble, it's like 1.5 dribbles, and he got to the rim. And he only had 1 dribble after half court, and he Euro stepped to finish right at the rim. I think he's going to be elite in the open floor. I think that, the situation with BYU, he's going to play in a pro-style offense. He's going to have a lob threat. He's going to have a good point guard in Robert Wright to get him the ball. I think AJ's going to win Player of the Year. I think he's going to win Player of the Year. It's going to be crazy because AJ and Darryn are in the same conference. And I'm looking at the camera right now. Please release the conference schedules right now, man. There are people who want to build, I don't want to say vacations, but want to build trips around some of these games.
Let's go to Lawrence.
Yeah.
Who said that before, man? I mean, I get it, but we'll be there. But
yeah, so I've been fishing around talking to like different coaches, and the prediction is that the BYU Kansas game will be in Lawrence. But all right, if I got the location, I still want to know the dates and so on. So I know it's about 90 days to college basketball starts, but please release the conference schedule so we can know about these marquee matchups. But anyway, I do think that AJ is going to be Player of the Year. I think that you're going to see his game go up to another level. I do really believe that he was kind of bored in high school. We're talking about a guy, if I'm not mistaken, he led the EYBL in scoring as a freshman. He's been talked about for the last 4 years. Darryn Peterson, I think, because he wasn't as talked about, I think that there's an extra motivation of trying to get to the top. And I think sometimes when you're at the top, they say it can be a little bit lonely. And I do think that was the case with AJ. He was still great. And I talked to a coach that was at the Team USA practices in Colorado Springs. And he said, man, what we saw out of him in high school and what I saw at the trials, he said it was totally different. And he said, this is a college coach, Power 5, Power 4, how many? I guess it is Power 5 in basketball. He said, I would have taken him number 1 in the 2025 NBA draft. So he would have taken him over Cooper Flagg.
That's fair. I mean, for all the he was bored talk, and again, this isn't like a knock on. He had a great season, but like I got to see him in person in San Francisco, and it was in Oakland. Same thing. Not really. Don't come after me, Bay Area hyphy people. But at the All-Star game, I saw him there, and it was like they played against Dynamic Prep. Shout out to Jermaine O'Neal. We probably should get a college coaching job, whatever he wants, because like he's a really good coach. But like they had an answer for him. They locked him up. And again, that's one game. You can't necessarily evaluate that on a player on one game. But like he just didn't like affect the game. And maybe it was all the
press. Think about it though. How much did he have going on? That game was All-Star weekend because of AJ. I'm sure he had Nike press tours. I think he had a whole lot going on outside of just playing basketball.
I understand that, Rob.
As a teenager, not a pro, but he really was like a professional.
But that comes with the territory. You know, it comes with the territory. When you sign up for this, when you sign that NIL deal with Nike at 16 years old, like, again, I don't expect a kid to fully understand it, but like it just comes with the territory. And whether or not you're bored or whatever, he just didn't look interested in that game. And again, this is a big opportunity. It's a big, platform. Like, I just would have liked to have seen more. But
every game for him all year long was that. I feel like they played a game in like August or September last year. Like, school barely even started, and they had a big showcase game against Cameron Boozer, who we're going to talk about next. I just feel like all season long, it was just...
But guess what, though? It's only going to intensify as we keep going.
But
you know
as
what I'm
you're
saying?
older, you're more prepared for it.
I mean,
he's going to be definitely prepared for it more than others. But I just feel like there was a lot going on around him. Not necessarily a bad thing. I just feel like it was just every game was like a show.
Every game at BYU is going to be a show. Here's the thing. If we're saying
not if they play Pacific, ain't nobody care about BYU.
If he doesn't play well against Pacific, we're definitely going to care. Not to say that he won't.
Because that's going to draw. That's going to be
exactly
chatter for people.
But here's
the
thing.
About.
This is my thing. To wrap it up about AJ, when Cooper Flagg came here, they played at SMU. Every Dallas rapper with a big chain on was at SMU courtside. Everybody was there. The former president was there. Huge event. So when you're that guy in college basketball, and if we feel like AJ has a bigger name than Cooper Flagg or even on that same level, like every game is going to be like all eyes on you.
The difference is when Cooper came here to Dallas, he wasn't doing Nike press runs. He had to play basketball. That was it. When AJ was playing in San Francisco, and pretty much every stop he made this year, he was literally doing press runs and promoting Red Bull and all that stuff. So I think a lot of that's going to be cut out once he gets to BYU because they're not going to allow him to be doing
that's fair, but if that
sneaker signing events,
man, if that NIL number is real, man, I need you to sign these babies, these sell these cars.
They get the money back.
Athlete AI is the story of the athlete, and every athlete deserves to have the story told. Under the lights and in the spotlight, this is your moment, your room. Download, capture, create, share. Athlete AI. Your name is Trent.
All right, let's talk about the next player that you were excited to see.
Okay. I like Cameron Boozer. And you said I was making faces when you said you think AJ Dybantsa was going to win National Player of the Year. I think it's going to be Cameron Boozer.
That's fair.
Because Cameron Boozer is like one of the most decorated high school players.
Hold on. I don't know about one of the most. I don't know if you can find somebody that has a better high school resume.
His high school resume is
4 state championships, and I think he won the
I don't
want
to disrespect like Wilt and Kareem and those
but they didn't
OGs.
have like they weren't playing on the Peach Jam.
I doubt Wilt Chamberlain and Kareem lost the high school game.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, when you just factor in I think guys are playing way more games now than they did back then, and to win Peach Jam every year, 4 state championships. I mean, I think Cole Pete's resume is just as impressive. I think he won every year in high school too. But yeah, Cameron Boozer, I mean, his resume is crazy. We haven't even talked about USA basketball. I think he was like USA Basketball Player of the Year and so on. But his trophy case, I imagine they live in a big house, so it's not like they live in a little house, but right. I think they have enough room. I'm just guessing here. I don't know their financial situation, but I imagine that trophy case is full.
And that's why I feel like, he's definitely going to be up there in the National Player of the Year awards because he's just like a really good basketball player.
Yeah.
It's like you can throw out the Tim Duncan comparison. Maybe not, I don't want to say Cameron Boozer is going to have an all-time great career, but like as far as just demeanor, no nonsense, you look up, he's got 22 and 12. He affected the game. He doesn't really have any weaknesses. Like that's the kind of player Cameron Boozer is. And he's got the stimulus package of playing with his brother at point guard. So it's like, hey, he probably make a noise and he gets the ball where he wants it. So Cameron Boozer is going to be very, very good. Duke is releasing scrimmage tapes. He's scoring isolations. He's hitting threes. Like we saw him at the McDonald's All-American game. And, he's like, hey, he might be having a decent game. You look up and he has like 22 and 12. He's just legit, like really good. And the thing about him is he's a 4-5. He can defend. I know you're really high on AJ, but they played AJ, Knight Riders versus Oakland Soldiers last summer. And he did as great of a job as you could on AJ Dybantsa, who's going to be a 3-4, top 3 pick. And like for Cameron Boozer to go out there and move his feet, kept him in front of him, like he is really, really, really good, steady the ship, and Duke has another one.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that those two, AJ. I mean, you can throw Darryn in there too. I think it's going to be a great college basketball season, just because, like I mentioned in the open, there's a lot of guys that return to school, and Boozer does have a good situation with his point guard. Like when you're big, your best friend should be the guy that's going to get you the ball, and just so happened for him, it's going to be his brother. You talk about chemistry,
right?
I mean, he's going to know exactly when he cuts. I mean, I think their chemistry is going to be good for 4 points a game. So that could bump you from 16 to 20 or 20 to 24. But Boozer's a guy that I went and watched his film. Like I pretended like I didn't know anything about him and just watched his film with an eye of someone that hadn't seen him before. And one of the things I noticed is that he did a lot of work off the dribble in space. Like I think it's easy to kind of assume because of his physicality
and his dad,
and his body type, that he's a bruising 4, because physically he looks like it. I mean, grown man.
Oh, he's been shaving for a while.
He's been a grown man body, grown man strength for quite a while.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that does concern me a little bit is how is it going to scale up when everyone else can match his physicality? But he does have the skill set to adjust. So I think that's going to be something to look out for, just because, like I said, you're not going to find a high school player built like him with the skill level.
Nah.
I mean, Cole Pete, even then Cole's smaller.
Right.
So with that being said, that's something I'm going to, just kind of monitor in college. I don't think he's going to have any issues in college, but he was putting the ball on the floor. It was a lot more film of him attacking in space, putting the ball on the floor, rebounding. Even though he's like a phenomenal rebounder, he's tough to stop on the offensive glass. I think there's going to be upside as a shooter.
It's a lot of Kevin Love in his game, I believe. It's a lot of
like
Kevin
a
Love.
more athletic version of Kevin Love. Kevin Love, if I remember correctly, I don't think he was spacing the floor like that in high school. Maybe he was, but Kevin Love was fat when he was in high
he was a
school.
bully. Yeah.
So, but if he's Kevin Love, and especially pre-Cleveland Cavaliers Kevin Love, I mean, I seen my man had like a 30-30 game.
Yeah, some of those 30-30 games was kind of fake though, man. He was like not trying to block shots. He was playing to miss.
I told somebody once, Kevin Love was playing like how I play 21. I'm not playing defense. I'm just waiting on the rebound so I can get the ball.
He was playing to miss quite a few times.
I let y'all go out and defend. I'm just waiting on the guy to miss so I can get the rebound.
Right, kind of. I saw him fake at a guy and then position himself to grab the rebound.
Hey man, sometimes when you're up for that contract negotiation and you say, "Look, I led the league in rebound,"
man,
I may add some M's. I may get you a max.
You only got to trick a few people, not everybody.
Maybe you really only got to trick one team. With that being said, like with Boozer, I have excellent frame, broad shoulders, thick legs, just physically dominant on the high school level. He won at every level. He's a winner. Like that's one of the best attributes that you can say about a prospect is he's a winner. He knows how to play winning basketball. And I think that he's going to help your team win, whether he's featured or not. He just knows how to win. He's a pro. He's been a pro. Dad's a pro. And I think, the bloodlines and the pedigree does give you some advantages, especially if your dad is someone who's been there before.
Yeah.
So I think that's an advantage. But again, I was just amazed at how much film that he had putting the ball on the floor, attacking off the bounce. He has the ability to just drive through you. Like the first step isn't like elite where he's blowing by you, but if he can't get by you, he can just drive through you, get to a sweet spots. He's a really good athlete, not like crazy, not like Darryn and AJ, but he's more bouncier than I thought when he has a runway. Like I don't know if he's got that quick twitch, just vertical pop where it's just like, I've seen AJ like get an offensive rebound, pop back up and just dunk. I've seen Darryn Peterson do the same thing too. Boozer, it's more so just off a straight up jump vertical. He's not consistently dunking the ball, but when he has a runway and he's on the move, he looks like a really good athlete. Rebound and run threat. I think that he's going to be like this pick and pop, pick and roll threat. And he's a really good rim protector.
And passer too.
Really good passer too. One of the concerns I had is kind of a tweener. What is the position that you think he will play in the NBA? Or maybe I'll say, what position do you think he'll close games at in the NBA? Do you think he can be a small ball 5? Or do you think he's a 4?
I think it's situational. In this situation at Duke, he'll be playing the 4. They brought back Patrick, I forget how to pronounce his last name, but he's going to play a lot of the 5. I think he can play either position. And one of the biggest, I guess you could say, pluses about him, I think he's a good athlete, not a great athlete, but like part of him tilting more to the great side of the athleticism chart is that like his feet move. And like I said, he guarded AJ Dybantsa a lot.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a play or two. Like this is at Peach Jam. This is for all the marbles. Every college coach in the country's there. And like he's staying in front of him. He's making AJ's, every shot AJ is taking over him is contested, difficult. He's keeping him on the perimeter. Like that is going to translate well for him. And in today's NBA, like, teams are going double big. So I don't necessarily think it matters whether or not he's a 4 or a 5. He's going to be able to play both. And if he's out there at the 5, if he's not a big time shot blocker because he's not super explosive off the ground, he's going to be switchable on some Al Horford stuff.
Yeah. I never thought about the Al Horford comparison. There's a game that they played against each other. I want to say AJ had like 45 on him. It was just an amazing display of shot making. And Boozer,
at Peach Jam?
No, it was at the early their senior year. It's like one of these showcase games. It was in like San Diego. I remember, I want to say like AJ had like 45, but it was just a crazy display of like elite shot making. But Boozer had like a double-double, blocks, rebounds. No, he had a double-double. He stuffed the stat sheet with blocks, assists, and they won.
Yeah.
But nobody's been able to beat him
ever
on the high school level. Like
yeah.
Say he's won 4 state championships, 3 Peach Jams. When it matters most, I mean, he's won every game. Or another player that I'm really looking forward to seeing this year is Mikel Brown at Louisville.
Still in my guys, man.
He's a player that, well, one, he should have won MVP.
For sure. That's why it wasn't a debate.
I mean, it's debatable because he didn't win and AJ won. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so
if you rob me and everybody sees you rob me, I don't think there's a debate.
But it's a debate because he didn't win. Like, you know what I mean? So,
hey, if you say so.
I just spent some time with him. I was in Lincolnton, North Carolina at Combine Academy. I was at Camp Cerro. So shout out to the people at Cerro's Partners. And I was able to spend some time watching him work out with his dad. His dad is no nonsense. But you can see, like, why he's as good as he is. And I think he's going to catch people by surprise. Or maybe he shouldn't catch anyone by surprise if they saw the U19s. But he's got good size. He's 6'4", still baby face. So I think people don't realize how tall he is. I know he was like 5'9" for the longest. He told me he was like a 5'9" freshman. But his ability to adapt to many roles. He can score. He can pass. He's good positional size. Sneaky athletic. Real sneaky.
It might not be sneaky for too much longer. He's really trying to dunk on people.
I think part of it is because when you see like the AJs and the Darryns, you know, like, all right,
yeah,
if they get to their launching pad, you know, you got to do like Kevin Garnett. You jump and put your hands
in your pockets.
You don't want to get dunked on. For him, I think like it's sneaky because controlled in a sense, and he's banging on dudes with the left hand. He's a good passer. One of the things I saw from him in his workouts is that he was really working on passing. Like a lot of, you know, I've been to a bunch of workouts, and very rarely do you see guys working on passing. That's why sometimes you see like some of the best players can't make simple post-entry feeds because they've never had to pass the ball to anybody because they're so good. He was working on different passes, left-hand passes, and the pass that he threw, the left-hand pass that he threw at the U19.
Oh, the full court?
The full court.
Yeah.
I was asking about that. He said he's ambidextrous. But Louisville's going to be good, or Louisville. I always pronounce it wrong. I've always said Louisville, but I know people from the area, they say it in their accent, Louisville, something like that. Anyway, I think that team is going to be good. They got a lot of talent. So I don't know if statistically he's going to have like the same numbers as Darryn or AJ or Cameron Boozer.
Do you think that matters? I don't think it should matter.
It may not matter. I mean, I just think you got to, you know, factor in, you know, just the concept or, you know, just the role. But what's unique about his game is that he can play so many roles.
Yeah, we saw him, it's 2025. So we saw him in 2024?
All-Star Weekend.
At All-Star Weekend.
Yeah.
He played for OTE. And he made, I nudged you, and I was like, yo, the kid's a pro. I saw him making like pocket passes. And he had handles and he shooting threes off the dribble. And it was like, that kid's a pro. Like OTE, whatever people may think about OTE, like he made NBA reads.
Yep.
And he knows how to play. I don't necessarily think, even though I'm going to say Louisville. Louisville is talented. I think that if he averages 12 and 5, it's still good enough for him to be a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to base him off of production. You're going to base him off of what you see he's able to do. As you see, he continues to grow physically. He was the best player of the FIBA U19s. Now, I do know he is 19, and, you know, some people may say, oh, he's an older prospect. We'll just treat him like he's a sophomore. Tyrese Halliburton was a sophomore. He's a top 10 pick. But I'm a big Mikel Brown fan. I think that, you know, again, if you ask me to make a choice in August, which doesn't make sense, but he's like a top 4 pick. I think he has franchise-level point guard talent.
Yeah, man. Like I said, the size, he can shoot the ball. NBA range, that's one of the things I saw that he was working on was shooting from NBA, deep NBA threes, not just NBA range. Some people may think like, no, master where you're at now, then work on that later. And, you know, that's, you know, other people have different opinions on that. But I do think that for him, the shooting, the passing, the positional size, and then he's tricky. Like I said, he's righty, but he plays lefty. He dunks left-handed. He passes with his left hand. And he's going to a good team. He's going to have spacing around him. They might have the best shooting team.
And their coach draws up some great stuff,
their
too.
Coaches, I mean.
He's a little dude like us, man. Shout out Pat Kelsey, man.
But the way he's just ascended in the last couple of years. I mean, it just shows you the right coach and the right energy can literally turn a program around.
For sure.
And so at first I thought with Brown, I was like, man, they brought in a lot of guys. Adrian Woolley was the guy that I really liked. And I wasn't necessarily a fan of all the guys that they brought in for Mikel Brown, because I'm like, man, he needs to rock out.
Yeah.
And don't put him in a position where, there's too many cooks in the kitchen. But
he can pass.
But he can pass.
And because he can pass, I think that is going to, if he just show me, he has it, but all he has to do is show just enough playmaking, enough individual creation. Show me that you can finish at the rim. Show me the floaters. And because he can pass, like, I don't need him to go out there and average 20, 21 a game, crazy stuff.
Well, pass and shoot. If he makes 2 or 3 threes a game, that's 6 to 9 points right there. And then, a layup, foul. So he should be able to average 12 or 14 points at the minimum. But the ability to shoot and pass, and then with the spacing that he'll have, he should be able to show that he can score on 3 levels. But with that being said, I was like, dang, they got too many guys. But then, you really think about it, he was their top recruit. They basically kind of have to do right by him in a sense.
Yeah, he's an Adidas guy. He's Donovan Mitchell's guy.
Yep.
And he's at an Adidas school. So I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, so I definitely think he'll be fine. I know there are some people who think like top 5 is a little crazy. I've heard people say it's recency bias. But one of the things I will say about Mikel Brown is that he's like a late bloomer physically.
Yeah.
So the athleticism is now catching up the height, because he was 5'9" as a freshman in high school. He told me he was like 5'9", like 130, and now he's like 6'4", 185. So he's going to get stronger. So I think like some people are just, they just think it's just recency bias that he's been overhyped because of how well he played at the U19s, and I totally disagree with that.
Yeah, I'm not rolling with that. Like I said, we saw him 2 years ago, and he stood out when he was 6'1", and now that he's allegedly 3 inches taller, like
no, I was with him. He's a legit 6'4". He could even get up to 6'5". I mean, just look at how young he looks in the face. He looks like he's still growing.
I wouldn't be surprised if he measured at 6'4" and some change, barefoot.
Yeah. You play in shoes.
But yeah, you play in shoes.
Athlete AI is the story of the athlete. And every athlete deserves to have the story told. Under the lights and in the spotlight. This is your moment, your room. Download, capture, create, share. Athlete AI. Your name is trending.
Who's next for you?
I am excited about, though he's not a freshman, he should be a freshman. Jayden Quaintance was at Arizona State, transferred to Kentucky. You want to talk about some impressive film, Raf? Shot blocking, athleticism, defensive upside is through the roof. And he was very impressive as a 17-year-old. We had some 17-year-olds play last year, but they turned 18. Well, he was younger than both of them. Those guys being Cooper Flagg and Jeremiah Fears. But yeah, I really like Jayden Quaintance. And he's in a spot. They let him shoot threes at Arizona State. Didn't shoot the ball particularly well.
No.
He shot like 44.
Too many.
Yeah, he probably should have let him shoot too many. And I think he shot like 44% from the free throw line. But he's very, very talented. And I think he can pass.
Yes.
And I think that, he's trending towards Jalen Duren. But at the same time, Jalen Duren he was a young freshman as well.
Yeah.
But he's trending towards that.
What about Bam?
You can't be Bam if you can't shoot.
But Bam didn't shoot the ball at Kentucky either.
Yeah, but he had that Kentucky handcuff on him.
Well, I mean, he's at Kentucky, different coaching staff.
Yes, different coaching.
But
he had the pre-Pope handcuff on you, which means you don't get to shoot. Bam is probably, I guess you could say, best case. But like Jalen Duren, when he's locked in, he's a glass cleaner, underrated passer. As the team took a step up, and I guess you could say spacing because he wasn't playing next to another 5. Like, he had a really good season for the Detroit Pistons. I think Quaintance can be like that. And at the same time, you factor in like he's extremely young.
Yeah, he played the whole season at 17.
17.
I mean, he's out right now. He tore his ACL, so they're hoping that he can be back by December-ish. I mean, if I'm Kentucky, I don't rush the process. I may even hold him out to like January, and then that could impact his draft stock because if he comes back in January, it's going to take him some time to knock the rust off, and then you're getting right into you're deep into conference play by the time he gets it going. But I think that he's a top 5, top 7 guy just because of what he does on the defensive end. The shot, the confidence is one thing. Like he was shooting it like he was making it. I didn't like the fact that I thought that he bailed teams out by shooting threes because he wasn't making them. He took like 32 threes in 24 games. He only made 18% of them. He only shot 48% at the line. So I'm sure the scouting report is, hey man, let him shoot. And he kept shooting. So I do think that with his ability to score in the paint, he has a soft touch. He can finish, whether it's like as a dunker spot big, as a roll man. He has this, it sounds crazy, but not everybody has it. The ability to like go up strong, but then lay it up soft.
Yeah.
There's some guys, everything is like trying to dunk around the rim, which I like that, but there are guys that don't have any touch. And so he does have, good touch. The turnovers, he turns the ball over a lot.
Yes.
But this is why you got to like really, really watch film. Because if you just looked at the numbers, you're like, oh my gosh, he had like 47 turnovers and compared to 37 assists. But he can pass. He can make reads. He can find cutters. He's really good at grabbing the offensive rebound and finding the shooter. Like, not only is he giving you like, another possession, but when you get an offensive rebound, especially if the team plays good defense and they force a bad shot, but he has the ability to get the offensive rebound and in one motion find and locate the open shooter. That's crushing for the defense sometimes, especially if they force the bad shot. So his ability to get you extra points, and defensively, he's a monster. He was like the only player that had like 90 blocks and 27 steals in the country. And he had 8 games with over 4 blocks. And he was 17. Like, I was a young senior in high school. I graduated high school at 17. There was guys that were sophomores that were 17. They may have been like a few months younger than me. There's somebody right now that is older than Jayden Quaintance that is
2027
that is carrying a backpack in high school.
Yeah. So, Jayden Quaintance, man, and it's like you're almost doing him a disservice by just like reading the stats. Like if you really watch the film, he's ripping guys on the perimeter.
Yeah.
A big with good hands on the perimeter is frustrating for a guard because he's like
7'5" wingspan.
He's got a 7'5" wingspan. If I do get by him, he probably is gonna beat it off the glass. But I gotta get by him first because he's trying to take the ball from me.
Yeah.
I think that he has all the defensive potential in the world. And, again, all the 3-pointers that he was shooting, that's probably gonna get cut out. But at the same time, you do like the confidence. The touch needs to get better from outside of the paint, but I really think that he has top 5 pick potential.
Yeah, I just don't think we're going to see the best of him this year.
But
just because he's coming off an ACL injury, and usually, I mean, who comes back after an ACL injury that first year coming back and they look, like their old self? I think it's going to take some time. And so if you're a team, and obviously we're forecasting way ahead, you got to factor in like, all right, how he looked this year, he was probably going to play at 75, 80% of what he could have been. So that's something that's going to be interesting. All right, for me, another player that I'm excited about, I may not be as excited as other people, is Nate Ament that's going to Tennessee. There's a lot of people that really, really love him. Some see him as a dark horse number 1 pick candidate. I can't get there yet. Tennessee is an interesting choice as far as school. They don't really have a track record of getting guys in and out. But Coach Barnes, Coach Kevin Durant at Texas, that's the coach at Tennessee. So maybe he sold him on, hey, you're the next Kevin Durant. But I get the intrigue. I get the the physical tools, the positional size, the shooting. He shoots it from deep. I think he's still like a work in progress. I think he's behind the other players that we've talked about, but he's also a late bloomer in a sense. So I think that kind of adds to the appeal. But he's someone that I'm excited to see simply because he's probably going to have to prove me wrong. Because right now, again, I see the potential, I see the upside, I see why people like him. If you really like Zacharie Risacher, then I imagine you really like Nate Ament.
Man, I got that in my notes, man.
I mean, it ain't like it's groundbreaking. They look alike. They're the same size.
Yeah.
It's not like,
but I mean,
it's not like that was like,
but here's the thing though, like, while Zacharie Risacher is probably like realistic, I've seen people who, are drinking the Kevin Durant Kool-Aid because, he's 6'9", 6'10", skinny, he can handle the ball some and he can shoot. But I don't think he has that level of like quickness that Durant had off the dribble. I mean, again, we're talking about Kevin Durant is like, to me, I'm on record saying he's probably the most talented basketball player like ever. As far as you just factor in size, shooting ability, handle, longevity.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Durant is different.
Efficiency.
Efficiency, like that's why I can't compare somebody to like Kevin Durant. But Nate Ament, like he has those traits that can, however you may feel, either trick you or that you may love about it. Because again, tall, skinny, can put the ball on the ground some. My biggest issue with him right now is just that like he just doesn't have a lot of strength. And while he can put the ball on the ground some, it feels like, you put a smaller guy on him, what is he going to do? Whereas Durant, you could put a smaller guy on him, but Durant was going to post up, shoot over. Like Durant is unreal. But I think Ament, I'm agreeing with you. He's going to be somebody that do I see top 10 pick? Yes. Do I see dark horse for number 1? Not right now. But again, it's August and I will be glad to be wrong if he turns out to be a top 3 pick because it's better for the game. And like I said, he does have a lot of talent.
Yeah. I think the allure is the fact that he's not as physically gifted, at least physically mature. That's probably the better word as everyone else. We talked about AJ, grown man body. We talked about Cameron Boozer, grown man body.
Darren's got a grown man body.
Darryn Peterson, strong. He's got his, he's physically ready. And Quaintance, grown man body at 17. So with Nate, it's like, all right, he's not there yet physically. We all know he's going to have to get stronger, but what can he be once he gets stronger? And so one of the concerns I've had is that, is he tough? And I've asked different people. They're like, no, he's not like overly tough, but he's not a pushover either. I mean, pushover is not the word that they used, but they're like, he's not a pushover either. When you watch him on defense, I've seen like the clips where he plays excellent defense. He knows how to use his size and his length. But on the offensive end, solid athlete. He's mobile. He's coordinated. He's agile at 6'9". Again, reminds me of Risacher. He can shoot over the top of defenders. I think he has a little bit more offensive creativity than Risacher. And so, as far as just like...
But I don't think he's the athlete that Risacher is.
I don't know. I mean,
not to say that Risacher is like some super dynamic athlete. I just don't think Ament is as athletic.
But I
as
wonder...
Risacher.
I wonder, can he? Because he just still seems like he's got the
Risacher young too, though.
The Bambi legs. But yeah, I think that he has a little bit more bag. Maybe if Risacher is a better athlete, I think that Nate has a little bit more
creativity
of bag, because he does have some craft to his game, some shot fakes, some pump fakes, little mid-range post game. He scored on 3 levels on the high school level, not necessarily like blowing by guys off the dribble, but when you're that size, you should be able to at least finish at the rim. Just my concerns are, can he finish through contact? Is he strong enough? Because teams are going to do what you said. Put a smaller guy on him, get up in his airspace. Is he going to be able to handle smaller defenders? That's the concern I have going into the year. Karim Lopez. I like Karim Lopez. One of the reasons I like Karim Lopez is because he was a scorer at Juventud, or however you pronounce it in Spain, big-time scorer coming out of Mexico. He played in the NBL last year, which is the Australian League, and he had to play a totally different role. And even though he wasn't like crazy efficient from 3, and he was like limited to being a corner boy, I thought that he still found ways to impact games. He's a phenomenal cutter. He's like 6'8", 220. So he is already like has this grown man body or close to it. And I think that he has a game that can complement anybody. Good athlete. One of the things I liked about Karim Lopez was despite the fact that he was playing against grown men, he had a lot of dunks, but a lot of dunks in the half court. It wasn't just transition dunks. He was getting by guys, dunking. He's tough. He's not afraid of contact. He initiates contact. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him. Unfortunately, we won't get a chance to see him under the bright lights of college basketball. He'll be playing in the NBL. But Karim Lopez is a guy that I'm excited about for the 2026 class. What about you?
I got one for you. Chris Cenac going to Houston.
Talent. That's the first thing that comes to mind. I think
he's
a talent.
You want to talk about somebody that's top 5 pick talent? It is absolutely him. He is raw, and he is a project, and he might be like a Marquise Chris type where you'd be like, man, I see it. I see why. Now, if he doesn't have the whatever else that made Marquise Chris not stick, fine. But like he's got all the physical tools. If you just look at him shoot, like, man, he's 6'10", 6'11". It looks like Anthony Davis shooting, but he might have a game where he might have 6 points. And you're like, all that talent, you finish with 6 and 2, and then he's at Houston. We know Houston keeps an old roster, some OGs. How much will he play? But at the same time, I believe this is the most 5-star recruits Houston has had. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. But he's somebody where you may look at him. I can see a GM taking him no matter what. If he averages 6 and 4, it may not even matter because he's like that talented. He shot 37% on jump shots as a big, and he's an athlete.
Yeah. To me, the talent and the production aren't on the same page. I want to see how tough he is. But one of the things I like about what he did was he signed up to play for Kelvin Sampson.
A tough coach.
When you sign up to play for Sampson, you know you got to be tough. You know you have to defend. And you know that he's going to be hard on you. He's going to be tough on you. It's not a situation where he put himself in a spot where it's a guaranteed one and done. Yeah,
and it's not in a situation where you look at, the coaching staff looks at you and say, you know what, we need you because, we got to do this or do that. Whereas like Houston they find their guys regardless.
Yeah, you got to get in where you fit in. Yeah. He's going to have to earn his minutes.
Yeah.
And so I think he put himself in a good spot. Risky, yes.
Yes.
But if Sampson can get it out of him, like, get him to maximize his potential and get the production and the talent on the same page, he could be a top 5 pick.
He's got all the talent in the world. He's just super, super inconsistent.
Yep.
Like I said, I saw him at the All-Star weekend, and I heard about him, was reading about him, and I was like, man, this dude here. And then you go watch the film. I believe they played, was it Lou High? It's like, oh, okay, I see why, Or he had a good game, I believe, against Cameron Boozer, too. Yeah. So it's like you just don't know what you're going to get out of him.
Well, that wraps up this episode of the NBA Draft Junkies podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode. I don't want to tease it, but I may have a top 5 pick, a sit-down one-on-one interview with a potential top 5 pick coming up. Once again, it's Rafael and James Barlowe. We are the NBA Draft Junkies. We are